In the beginning, there was chaos. Not the disorganized, tumultuous kind that we might imagine, but a vast, formless void from which the entire universe would emerge. This void, known to us through the opening lines of Genesis, was a place of darkness and uncertainty. Yet, out of this nothingness, a voice spoke, and the universe came into being. This moment, the creation of the world, is not just a story. It is a foundational narrative that has shaped human understanding of our place in the cosmos for millennia. The creation account in Genesis is more than just a religious text. It is a literary masterpiece, a carefully crafted narrative that uses repetition and formulaic language to convey a sense of order and divine intent. Phrases like, "And God said," "Let there be," and "It was so," serve to structure the narrative, creating a rhythm that is both mesmerizing and powerful. Each day of creation builds upon the last, culminating in the creation of humanity on the sixth day. This meticulous structure is a reflection of the Hebrew belief in a God who brings order out of chaos, a God who is both all-powerful and intimately involved in the world. The creation of humanity is particularly significant. Unlike the other creatures, humans are described as being made in the image of God. This concept, known as the Imago Dei, suggests that humans possess a unique relationship with the divine. It is this relationship that gives humans dominion over the earth and all its creatures. However, this dominion is not to be understood as a license to exploit or dominate. Instead, it is a call to stewardship, to care for the world and its inhabitants with the same care and wisdom that God demonstrates in the act of creation. The creation narrative in Genesis is not the only account of the world's origins. Many cultures have their own creation myths, each reflecting the values and world views of the people who created them. What sets the Genesis account apart is its focus on a single, all-powerful God who creates the world through spoken word. This emphasis on the spoken word is significant, as it underscores the power of language and communication. In the Hebrew tradition, words have the power to create and transform, a belief that is reflected in the many prayers, psalms, and prophetic writings that form the core of the Hebrew Bible. The creation narrative in Genesis also serves as a foundation for the moral and ethical teachings that follow. The commandments given to Adam and Eve, particularly the injunction to avoid the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, set the stage for the ongoing relationship between humanity and God. This relationship is marked by both obedience and rebellion, as the story of the fall in Genesis 3 illustrates. The consequences of human disobedience are profound, leading to the expulsion from the Garden of Eden and the introduction of suffering and death into the world. Yet, even in the face of this disobedience, God does not abandon humanity. Instead, God promises a future redemption, a theme that will be explored throughout the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament. The creation narrative is followed by a series of stories that trace the early history of humanity. The account of Cain and Abel, the first instance of human violence, highlights the ongoing struggle between good and evil. The story of Noah and the flood, serves as a dramatic illustration of God's judgment and mercy. As God saves Noah and his family while destroying the wicked world around them. These stories, while often familiar, are rich in symbolism and moral lessons. They remind us of the consequences of our actions and the importance of maintaining a right relationship with God. The stories of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob further develop the theme of God's covenant with humanity. Abraham, in particular, is a pivotal figure, as he is chosen by God to be the father of a great nation. The promise of land and descendants is central to the Abrahamic covenant, and it is this promise that drives much of the narrative in the book of Genesis. The stories of Abraham's interactions with God, such as the command to sacrifice his son Isaac, highlight the challenges and rewards of faith. These stories also introduce the concept of election, the idea that God has a special purpose for certain individuals and groups. The Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, is a complex and multifaceted text. It is not a single unified work, but a collection of stories, laws, and genealogies that have been compiled and edited over time. The different styles of writing, priestly, saga, and Deuteronomistic, reflect the diverse origins and purposes of the material. The priestly style, characterized by its focus on ritual and legal prescriptions, is particularly evident in the books of Leviticus and Numbers. This style emphasizes the importance of order and ritual in maintaining a right relationship with God. The saga style, found in the stories of the patriarchs and early history, is more narrative and character-driven, reflecting a more human and relatable perspective on the divine. The Deuteronomistic style, with its moralistic and theological emphasis, is found in the book of Deuteronomy and the historical books of Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. This style often reflects a later, more developed understanding of God's laws and the consequences of obedience and disobedience. The interweaving of these different styles is a testament to the complexity of the biblical text. The editors and redactors who compiled the Pentateuch were not simply recording history. They were also shaping a narrative that would serve as a moral and theological guide for future generations. The contradictions and discrepancies within the text, such as the 2 creation accounts in Genesis 1 and 2, and the conflicting details in the story of Noah's flood, are not mistakes, but rather reflections of the diverse sources and traditions that contributed to the final text. These contradictions also invite readers to engage with the text critically and thoughtfully, to ask questions and seek deeper understanding. The creation narrative and the stories that follow are not just ancient myths or historical records. They are living texts that continue to speak to people today. The themes of creation, fall, redemption, and covenant are universal, resonating with human experiences across time and culture. The Hebrew Bible, and the creation narrative in particular, offers a vision of a world that is both ordered and chaotic, a world in which God is present and active, and in which human beings have a central role to play. Whether one reads these texts as literal history, allegory, or spiritual guidance, they remain a powerful and enduring source of inspiration and wisdom. In conclusion, The creation narrative in Genesis is a profound and multifaceted story that has shaped human understanding of our place in the world. It is a story of order emerging from chaos, of a God who creates and sustains, and of humanity's unique relationship with the divine. As we navigate the complexities of our own lives, the lessons of this ancient text continue to offer guidance and hope.